When we think of insects, we think of them as disgusting little creepy crawlers. Society has taught us to be wary of them because they can carry many diseases and such, so we don't even think about eating them. However, many other cultures other than the Western cultures actually do regard eating insects as a delicacy, so why shouldn't the Western culture do so as well? Hello, my name is Meiru Padurek, and today I will explain how entomophagy, the practice of eating insects, can benefit us. I have done my research through reading numerous articles to understand this topic better. As young people from the Western culture, we need to learn how to modify our diets in order to help maintain a habitable planet as well as meet our nutritional needs. First, I will point out a series of problems that we will most likely encounter in just a few decades. Then I will propose entomophagy as a possible and sustainable solution. And finally, I will discuss the limitations of this solution. We must regard the many different issues that plague our planet as well as upcoming ones that will arise in the near future. With more technological advancements, the growth of the global population will keep rising exponentially. According to the US News, the United Nations estimates a population of 9 billion by 2050, which is an increase of 2 billion of our current population. And because of this growing population, we will have to double or even triple our food production rate. According to Marcel Dijk, an expert in entomology from the Netherlands, he says that 70% of our agricultural lands are actually dedicated for the livestock, and only 30% are dedicated for food that's meant for human consumption. So we will have to double and triple our food production rate. And because of that, according to the scientists, the intensification of livestock production is more susceptible to increasing livestock pathogens as well as more pollution. Another major problem is the average American diet, which is mostly consisted of poor nutrition, for example, high saturated fats. Peter Bickerton, a PhD student in plant sciences, has a family background with high risk in heart diseases, and according to The Guardian, his father died at the age of 45 from a heart stroke, and his uncle had to undergo a triple bypass heart surgery. This led to Bickerton to search new ways to improve his diet as well as reduce his risks in heart disease. So this leads to a possible and sustainable solution, which is entomophagy. What is entomophagy? Well, it's the practice of eating insects. And you may be wondering, how can this help resolve some of these issues? Insects in many countries, especially in Asia and Africa, are considered delicacies because of their nutrients. According to the scientists, insects carry a variety of nutrients that are actually essential for the human diet, to the point where they can even be compared to the meats that we currently eat, such as pork, beef, as well as fish. Depending on the species, insects contain between 30 to 70% of proteins, and they are actually a good source of essential fatty acids, as well as minerals and vitamins. The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization has stated that there are more than 1,900 edible insect species. And according to the National Geographic, breeding insects requires less resources and they are more environmentally efficient than the regular livestock, meaning that they require less land, they convert food into proteins in a better way, in a better and more efficient way, and they actually emit considerably fewer amounts of greenhouse gases than the regular livestock that we currently use today. Contrary to popular beliefs, insects are not as contaminated as we think they are. According to the United Nations, insects do carry pathogenic microorganisms. However, these microorganisms are different from your regular vertebrate pathogens. So, in conclusion, they are deemed harmless for human consumption. But of course, eating insects does have its own limitations, despite the promising results. According to BBC.com, the European Food Safety Authority published a risk assessment concerning the use of insects as a source of protein for humans and animals. It concluded that there were risks, obviously, but they depended on how the insects were being processed, as in what type of husbandry was being employed. Of course, the better the husbandry, the better quality and risk-free insects. According to Time.com, a study was led to see how crickets' diets can affect their protein production. The authors of the experiment concluded that those that received a grain-based only diet were more successful at converting their food into proteins. So they concluded that more innovation was needed for entomophagy to become the future of the human race. And so we need to find new ways to improve the husbandry in an economical way and become more efficient in producing these insects. I first discussed the many problems that are currently arising, as well as proposed entomophagy as a possible solution, and finally demonstrated the limitations of this solution. In a few decades, we will need to learn how to modify our diets in order to help maintain a habitable planet, as well as meet our nutritional needs. Despite the limitations of entomophagy, we should not overlook this possibility, but rather find new ways to help make our planet more habitable for future generations. Of course, eating insects is not the solution for ending world hunger nor pollution. However, it is the first step for a bigger change, and I urge you to try some because I even heard that some insects can taste like chicken. Thank you.